안녕하세요.
Alex Lee was the typical billionaire CEO, intelligent, determined, and ruthless. Lee Corporation, his company, was an empire that dominated various industries, and he was seen by everyone as the absolute and unquestionable leader. Born into a wealthy family, he had always had everything within his reach. But what he truly longed for was something beyond riches, desired an authentic life, free from the expectations of his family and the corporate world. Yet, among his countless commitments, his personal life had never been a priority. Hannah Park, on the other hand, was a simple young woman with a sincere smile and an immense drive to work hard. She worked as a secretary at Lee Corporation, a position that lacked the glamour of the company's higher ranks, but gave her the opportunity to be close to what she wanted most: professional growth. Born into a humble family, Hannah had always known that she had to fight for her future and remain independent. She admired Alex's efficiency, but she knew her place: just an employee, nothing more. Their first meeting happened on an ordinary morning when Alex, rushing to an important meeting, passed through the area where Hannah was organizing documents. She was so focused, head down, that she didn't notice his approach until she heard a deep voice calling her name. "Hannah," Alex said, a slight note of surprise in his tone. "Do you have a moment?" Startled by the sudden interruption, she looked up, only to meet his piercing gaze. She stammered, "Yes, sir. How can I help you?" "I need some documents from your desk. They should be ready for the meeting, correct?" Nervously, Hannah hurried to gather the papers, handing them to him with slightly trembling hands. "Here they are, sir." Alex took the documents, nodding in thanks. For a brief moment, he simply looked at her, as if trying to decipher something. She held her composure, but her heart pounded in her chest. There was something about his presence, something she couldn't control. "Would you mind accompanying me to the meeting room? I need someone to take notes," he asked, his voice neutral, but with a hint of curiosity. "Of course," Hannah replied, feeling slightly surprised, but not daring to refuse. During the meeting, Hannah sat quietly, taking notes as Alex discussed new business partnerships with the board members. It was clear that he was in complete control, yet from time to time, his gaze would drift toward her, as if seeking some kind of validation in her expression. Aware of her position, Hannah avoided eye contact. She knew he was a man beyond her reach, someone from a different world, and she, a mere secretary, had no right to dream of anything beyond her job. However, an unexpected incident disrupted the flow of the meeting. One of the potential investors openly criticized Alex's management style, suggesting that he should be stricter with his team. Watching from the sidelines, Hannah felt uneasy about the exchange. When the meeting ended and everyone left, she noticed Alex standing alone in silence, his expression tense. Without thinking, she hesitated for a moment before stepping closer. "Mr. Lee, you shouldn't let criticisms like that get to you. People tend to be harsh on those at the top." He looked at her for a moment, and a faint smile appeared on his lips. "I didn't know you paid such close attention to me," he said, almost teasingly. Hannah blushed, stepping back slightly. I'm just here to help where I can, and I know you have a lot at stake, so I thought maybe a little support wouldn't hurt." Alex's expression softened. "Maybe you're right," he admitted, now more relaxed. "It's nice to hear words like that, especially from someone like you." In that moment, something shifted. Alex began to see Hannah differently. She wasn't just another secretary, she was someone who in some way understood him without judgment. And Hannah, despite trying to ignore it, felt something stir inside her. She couldn't deny the growing attraction she felt toward him. In the days following the meeting, Alex couldn't get Hannah out of his mind. Every time he walked through the company halls, he found himself searching for her, hoping to see her again, though he struggled to maintain his composure. He tried convincing himself that it was just a fleeting admiration, a moment of weakness in his otherwise flawless routine. But the more time passed, the more he realized that his attraction to Hannah ran deeper than he wanted to admit. Meanwhile, Hannah tried to go about her routine as usual, but she couldn't deny that something had changed. She knew she was falling for him, something that should never happen. Alex Lee was a man from another world, a billionaire CEO, while she was just a low-level employee. The weight of the difference between them pressed on her own that neither the company nor society would overlook. During a business lunch with foreign investors, Alex was preparing to announce the company's expansion into the international market. As he entered the room, his gaze instinctively landed on Hannah in the distance, diligently organizing papers, as she always did. But something about her seemed off. The fleeting, nervous glances she cast in his direction were enough to make him approach her. "You seem distant," Alex said, interrupting her thoughts as she lined up some folders. "Is everything all right, Hannah?" She looked up quickly, startled by his sudden approach. "Oh yes, of course, sir. Just thinking about some things." "Is something on your mind?" he pressed, his tone soft but curious. Hannah hesitated. She didn't want to seem weak, but the tension between them was unsettling. "Actually, sir, I've been thinking about how complicated things are between us. I'm just a secretary, and you? Well, you're the CEO. I don't know if this is something we should continue." Alex frowned slightly, trying to grasp the meaning behind her words. "Are you saying we should keep our distance?" She didn't answer right away, only lowering her gaze. It hurt to admit it, but it was the reality. It's not just about distance. It's about what this would mean to everyone around us. I know I can't expect anything more. A sharp pang hit Alex's chest. He had never liked being confined by other people's expectations, but at that moment, it felt inevitable. "I understand your concerns, but I don't want social class to define us." She sighed, the weight of the situation pressing against her. "You talk as if it's easy, but it's not, Alex. You have an empire, a family that expects you to marry someone suitable, someone who shares your social standing. I'm just an employee. There's no place for someone like me in your life." Alex had no immediate response. He felt the weight of Hannah's words, yet he also knew he couldn't just let her go. The thought of living without her was unbearable. "I don't care what people expect of me," he said, with more conviction than he actually felt. "I care about what I want, and what I want is to be with you, Hannah." She stared at him, her eyes filled with both fear and longing. "Alex, you know it can't be like this. There's too much at stake, your position in the company, your family. Everything would be complicated." He took a step closer, his heart pounding. "I don't care about any of that if I can't have you by my side. Do you think I'm a fool for wanting to follow what I feel? I know I can face the world, even my family, if it means being with you." Hannah remained silent, looking at him with a mixture of hesitation and desire. She knew her love for him wasn't something she could control, but she also knew the consequences would be immense. Their relationship, already marked by social class differences, now faced the additional challenge of family expectations. Alex knew it wouldn't be simple. His family, especially his father, would never accept him with a woman like Hannah. To them, marrying beneath his class would be a disgrace. But Alex was beginning to see Hannah as more than just an employee. She was someone he wanted, someone he needed. Yet, he still didn't know how he would overcome the barriers that stood between them. After the tense encounter at the office, Alex couldn't get Hannah out of his mind. He knew the obstacles were overwhelming, and the weight of social and family expectations bore down on him relentlessly. However, the more he thought about it, the more determined he became to prove that their love could overcome any challenge. Despite the doubts clouding his mind how to balance his feelings with his family's expectations, the desire to be with her only grew stronger. Hannah, on the other hand, was torn. She spent sleepless nights replaying Alex's words in her mind. She loved him deeply, but the idea of being rejected because of her social class haunted her. Her mother had always warned her about the struggles of getting involved with someone from such a different world. She felt incapable of returning Alex's feelings without causing harm to both him and herself. And yet, she couldn't forget the sincerity in his eyes, the tenderness he had begun to show. But soon, the pressure from Alex's family would become a decisive factor. He was summoned to a formal dinner with his parents, a traditional event where the family's future would be discussed. The expectation that he would keep the family name untarnished and marry someone suitable was mounting, and his father, always strict and pragmatic, didn't hide his disapproval upon learning about Alex's feelings for someone like Hannah. "Alex, you understand what this means, don't you?" his father asked at the dinner table, his voice firm. "You are the leader of Lee Corporation. Your public image must be impeccable, and a woman like Hera, mere secretary, is not the wife you need." Alex took a deep breath, meeting his father's gaze. "Father, this isn't about her position. It's about who she is as a person. Hana understands me in a way no one else ever has." His father's expression hardened, and the tension in the room was palpable. "I'm not saying she's a bad person, Alex, but you need to understand the impact this will have on the family business. You cannot afford to be reckless right now. Your mother and I expected you to marry someone with the same background and status. This is about more than love, it's about securing the company's future." Alex felt the weight of his father's words, but his resolve only grew stronger. "I can't just choose who to love, Father. I can't ignore what I feel. Hana is special to me, and I won't give up on her for anything." The discussion was interrupted when his mother, with a concerned expression, spoke gently. "Alex, we know you're an adult and capable of making your own choices, but you need to think about this carefully. It's not a simple decision. Your happiness matters, but so does ensuring that Lee Corporation continues to thrive." The pressure mounted with every passing moment, but Alex was determined not to back down. He knew his family had rigid expectations, but he was ready to fight for the woman he loved. He looked at his father with unwavering determination. "I don't want to live just to meet everyone's expectations. I want to live to be happy, and Hana is my happiness." Meanwhile, Hana was struggling with her own fears. She knew Alex's family would never accept her, and unlike him, she didn't have the courage to face the consequences of their relationship. The fear of being rejected by his family and society at large kept her from following her heart. She wanted Alex to be happy, but she was terrified of being the one to bring chaos into his life. When Alex sought her out to talk about the dinner with his parents, she felt her heart tighten. "I can't be the woman you need, Alex," she said, her voice soft and trembling. "You deserve someone who is on your level, someone who won't bring more problems into your life." Alex stepped closer, his eyes burning with determination. "There is no one in this world more perfect for me than you, Hana. My life means nothing without you by my side." But Hana shook her head, feeling crushed by the situation. "I don't want to be a burden to you. I know what your family expects, and I know I can never meet their standards." "This isn't about what my family expects," Alex responded, his voice steady. "This is about what I want, and what I want is you." They were at a breaking point. Their love was being tested by expectations, tradition, and their own insecurities. But Alex refused to let go of Hana, and something inside him told him that if he lost her now, he would lose his only chance at true happiness. Time passed, and the weeks that followed were intense and filled with uncertainty for Alex and Hana. The family tensions did not subside, and the pressure on Alex, as CEO of Lee Corporation, became increasingly oppressive. His parents were determined to see him with someone of his own class, someone who would uphold the family lineage and be socially acceptable by high society's standards. But with each passing day, Alex felt more and more unwilling to conform to the choices his family wanted to impose on him. Meanwhile, Hana felt even more insecure. She knew Alex was willing to fight for her, but she couldn't shake the guilt of not being able to match his determination. Every time he spoke about their future, she found herself struggling against the fear of becoming an obstacle in his life. She loved him deeply, but she was convinced that their love would not be enough to overcome the class differences and the expectations of those around them. One evening, after a long day at work, Alex met Hana at the office. The tension between them was palpable, but something inside Alex told him that this would be the night when everything changed. He could no longer ignore what his heart was telling him. "Hana," Alex began, his voice deep yet full of emotion, "I know things aren't easy, and I understand your doubts. I can see how much you're suffering because of all this. But I need you to know something very important. I won't let you go." Hana looked at him, her eyes filled with tears, a sadness mixed with a flicker of hope. "Alex, you don't understand. I don't want to be the reason you lose your family, your company, everything you've built. I wouldn't be losing anything, Hana, because what I have with you is far more valuable than any company or family expectation. I can't live without you anymore. If necessary, I will face everything, even my family, to be with you." Alex's words weighed heavily on Hana's heart. She knew he was determined, but she also knew that his decision would mean breaking away from everything he had ever known. She loved him, But could she live with that responsibility? She felt torn between the love they shared and the fear of the consequences. "I don't know if I can do this, Alex," she said, her voice trembling. I don't want you to suffer because of me." Alex stepped closer, holding her hands firmly. "I won't suffer, Hannah. I will be happy because I'll be with you. That's all that matters to me now." Hannah's expression softened. She could see the sincerity in his eyes, and something inside her chest warmed. She knew that choosing to be with him meant facing unimaginable challenges, but she also knew that if she didn't, she would be giving up the truest love she had ever known. I want to be with you, Alex," she finally said, her voice full of emotion. "But this will be difficult, and maybe you'll have to fight much harder than you think." "I'm willing to fight, Hannah," he responded, his voice filled with conviction. "Together, we'll overcome everything." The next morning, Alex gathered his family for the most difficult conversation of his life. He knew it would be a battle, but he was ready for anything. As he stepped into the dining room, his parents were already there, waiting for him with serious, expectant expressions. "Father, Mother," Alex began, looking directly at them. "I've made my decision. I'm going to marry Hannah." Their reaction was immediate. His father, eyes widening, quickly stood up. "What? You can't be serious, Alex? Hannah is just an employee. She doesn't have what it takes to be your wife." Alex remained calm. "I love her, Father, and that's all that matters." His mother looked at him, sadness in her expression. "Are you sure about this? Are you really willing to risk everything for a woman like her?" "Yes," Alex answered, with a firmness that even surprised himself. "I am willing to risk everything to be happy with her." A heavy silence filled the room. His parents, knowing how devoted he had always been to the family's success, were clearly disappointed. But the determination in his eyes made them hesitate. Finally, his father spoke, his voice low and sorrowful. "You're following your heart then, Alex. But understand this, the company and our family's name may never be the same again." Alex knew there was no turning back. He wasn't just making a life choice, he was breaking free from a lifetime of expectations. But as he looked toward a future with Hannah, he knew, without a doubt, that he had made the right choice. Alex and Hannah were finally together, but the road ahead would not be easy. Although Alex had decided to stay with Hannah, the repercussions of their relationship began to manifest in unexpected ways. News of his involvement with an employee of Lee Corporation spread quickly, and soon the company's image came under scrutiny. The pressure mounted not only from Alex's family, but also from his board of directors. The next morning, Alex was summoned to an urgent meeting at the company's headquarters. As he entered the conference room, the board members were already waiting, visibly tense. The first to speak was one of the company's senior directors, her expression serious. "Alex," she said, "we know you are a strong leader, but your personal decision is affecting our public image. The company's stock has dropped since this became public, and that's not good for business. Your relationship with that employee is making investors uneasy." Alex looked at the board members, feeling the weight of their words, but he was not willing to yield. "My personal life should not interfere with the company's business. I am the same competent CEO I have always been, and this decision does not affect my leadership." Another board member, younger and more pragmatic, interjected. "We are not questioning your competence, Alex, but public perception is crucial. A CEO involved with an employee of lower social status sets a dangerous precedent for our image and reputation." The pressure was evident, but Alex did not waver. "I understand the concerns, but if it means that the company needs someone else at the helm to continue functioning, then you are free to replace me. I will not give up the woman I love." A heavy silence filled the room. The board members exchanged glances, but no one dared challenge Alex's resolve. He knew he was risking everything, but he was not willing to let go of Hannah. When the meeting ended, Alex felt more vulnerable as CEO than ever before, but at the same time, he was certain he had made the right decision. At home, Hannah was in a whirlwind of emotions. She knew that their decision to be together was affecting Alex in ways beyond her control. Her mother's visit that morning only reinforced her insecurities. "Hannah, have you thought about the consequences of this?" her mother asked, her tone filled with concern. "I understand how much you love him, but you need to consider what is happening around him. He is risking everything for you." Hannah looked at her mother, feeling the weight of her words. "I know, Mom, but he's willing to take that risk. I can't just leave him, but I don't want to be the reason he loses everything." Her mother sighed and took her hand. "Sometimes, love isn't enough. You need to think about whether you truly want to be the cause of all this pain in his life." Hannah didn't know what to think. She loved Alex, but her insecurity was growing. She feared that her presence in his life was more of a burden than a blessing. When Alex came to her that night, she struggled to express all the emotions swirling in her heart. "Alex," she said, her voice trembling, "I don't want you to lose everything because of me. I'm not worthy of this." Alex, his eyes full of understanding, took her hands in his. "Hannah, you are everything I need. I made my decision and nothing will change my mind. I love you." Hannah looked at him, tears welling in her eyes. "What if this all becomes too much for you? What if you regret it?" He smiled gently. "Never. I love you, and that's all that matters to me. No matter what others say or what the company thinks, I will not give up on you." Even so, Hannah couldn't shake her doubts. She knew their love was real, but the consequences were just as real. "I don't want you to suffer because of me, Alex." "I won't suffer," he said, his voice firm and reassuring. "I regret nothing, and neither should you." Hannah felt a mix of relief and even greater fear. She knew the road ahead would be difficult, but for the first time, she felt she could truly trust him. They would face the challenges together, no matter what lay ahead. After the board meeting, the pressure on Alex and Hannah did not subside. On the contrary, the challenges multiplied. Alex knew he was putting his career at risk by staying with Hannah, but he couldn't imagine his life without her. No matter how difficult it was, he was prepared to fight for her. The situation at work worsened. Investors started raising more pointed questions about the company's stability, while employees whispered in the hallways. The atmosphere inside Lee Corporation grew increasingly tense. Meanwhile, Alex's family also became more uncomfortable with his choice. His mother, who had always been a figure of authority in his life, called him for a serious conversation. "Alex, you know I'm not happy with this situation," she said, her voice trembling. "What you're doing could ruin our family's reputation. You are one of the most powerful men in the country, and now you're risking everything for her." Alex stared at his mother, but did not waver. "I won't give up on the woman I love, Mother. Hannah is an incredible woman. She makes me feel alive in a way I never have before. I don't regret anything." His mother looked at him, sadness mixed with understanding in her gaze. "I know you love her, Alex, but you need to think about the consequences. Are you ready to deal with them?" Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of every word. "I'm ready for anything. Nothing will take me away from Hannah." Meanwhile, Hannah was facing her own dilemma. She knew that her relationship with Alex was putting his life and career at risk, but she couldn't deny her feelings for him. The external pressure was starting to weigh on her shoulders, and she questioned whether she should take a step back so Alex wouldn't lose everything. One afternoon, as they sat alone in a cafe, Hannah looked into Alex's eyes and spoke in a low but sincere voice. "I don't want you to lose everything because of me, Alex. You already have a built life, a solid career. I can't be the reason you risk it all." Alex, who had been silent for a few moments, took her hand and looked at her with love and confidence. "Hannah, my life was never complete until you arrived. I might lose everything, but I will never lose you. What matters most to me now is you, nothing else." Hannah felt a wave of emotions, but at the same time, a weight lifted from her shoulders. She knew Alex was willing to fight for her, and as she listened to his words, she realized that she couldn't let fear separate them. "I love you, Alex. I don't want to lose you either." In that moment, the pressure around them seemed to ease. They had a difficult battle ahead, but they were united. Their love grew stronger. Deep down, they knew that the struggles they faced now were only preparing them for the future. The atmosphere in the company slowly began to change. Alex's dedication to his team and his confidence in Hannah started to be noticed. Meanwhile, Hannah, who had always felt insecure about her position, began to see her worth as more than just the CEO's secretary. She was a woman who deserved to be loved and respected, regardless of her social class. Alex decided to take a decisive step. He called a board meeting and gave a speech that resonated with everyone present. "I made the decision to be with Hannah because I love her," he began firmly. "I know this isn't what everyone expected, but I believe the best decisions come from the heart." This company was built on hard work and dedication. Hannah, with her intelligence and ethics, has been essential to Lee Corporation's growth. She deserves more than just being my secretary. I love her, and I don't regret anything. The room fell into deep silence. The board members, who had initially been divided, began to see that Alex's passion wasn't a weakness, it was a strength. Hannah was no longer just a lower-ranking employee, but a woman whose value was recognized both inside and outside the company. Over time, the pressure on Lee Corporation eased. The company began to prosper again, with Alex and Hannah facing every obstacle together. It didn't take long for their relationship to finally be accepted by those closest to them. The society that once criticized them started to see that true love knew no boundaries. On a sunny day, at the same cafe where they had once discussed their insecurities, Alex made the most important proposal of his life. "Hannah," he said with a soft smile, "will you marry me? I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Tears welled in Hannah's eyes. "Yes, Alex, I want to spend the rest of my life with you." And so, with time's blessing and the strength of their love, Alex and Hannah began a new chapter in their lives together. They overcame challenges and built a life filled with happiness.